Hey, what's up everyone? Beanibok here, and today we are going to be talking about the new plot in UCD. Now I do realize that this video is 2 weeks after the CD came out. I probably already missed my mark on a good time frame to even talk about this, but the reason behind it being late is because I'm in the process of moving and I really haven't had a lot of time to put towards a video. I've been too busy packing, getting things ready, and all that stuff. So there are 2 points to this before I actually get into the video. Number one, because I'm in the middle of packing, this desk behind me is actually going to go away tomorrow. So this is going to be a shorter video so that I can get the desk ready to be out of here and finish up all my packing for tonight. Along with all the other things. Actually, this room is actually a mess right now. And that means that this is going to be the last video that I make in this room. From here on out, after this, the videos will be in a different room. Hopefully I have enough space to make them happen, but we will see about that. Point number two is that we will be talking about the Plot News new CD, and I realize that whenever you talk about a band and either a new CD or it's a new band that came out, the fans that really love that band really get angry whenever you talk bad about it because everything that band makes is amazing. So I do want to bring up a point of this. And go ahead and just read that. Just kind of let this soak in. Opinions are allowed. Not everyone has to agree with what you think. Okay, everyone got that soaked in? Cool. So I will be talking both negatively and positively about this CD. And that's because in this CD, there are both negative and positive things about it. Now, this whole thing sparked whenever they released one of their new singles, which I can't think of the name off the top of my head. And someone on my Facebook posted about it saying how the new song is so amazing and how they're glad that the Plot News is always innovating towards something different. And I had to completely disagree with that statement for the reason of it was more of a pop song than it was anything else. And I'm sure that comment right there just got a lot of people mad. But if you listen to the CD, there's two paths that the CD takes. One path is the pop path, which there's literally moments you could picture Backstreet Boys dancing, having a dance routine to it. And then the second part is the melodic metalcore road, which whenever I was listening to the CD, I knew that this sounded so familiar to me, and I couldn't put my finger on it until about a week later whenever I listened to the CD again to try to figure out what it was. And this CD, The Plot News, goes down the path of Bring Me the Horizon's Sempiternal, which in my opinion is Bring Me the Horizon's greatest CD that they made. So on that, they have the influences and sounds of Sempiternal, which isn't a bad thing. I think that to go down the more melodic route isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think that it's completely unexpected from them. For those of you who don't really know, the Plot News started as this super heavy, angry band with their first EP being Wife Beater. Their first full-length CD, Firstborn, was equally as angry, and it was a concept CD, and it had by far, I think personally, the hardest intro to a CD that I've heard since. Like, I've never heard something that could compare to that, and it's still my favorite kickoff to a CD out of anything I've ever heard. And then we went to Could You Watch Your Children Burn, which went insanely dark and angry, and it was completely different from the other CDs that they've done. And that's something that we always saw in the Plot News. Every CD was changing something, making it a little bit different while keeping it still somewhat the same. And I think they did that the best. Now, after Could You Watch Your Children Burn, Landon actually started doing his own solo thing. And I actually didn't realize that it went as far back until I started to actually dig into this a little bit more. His solo thing was kind of like experimental and different things he probably wanted to do, but it didn't match with what the plot in You was, so that it was just something more creative and something that he could just do in his spare time while they were working on other stuff for the plot in You and touring with that band and whatnot. And these songs range all over the spectrum. So after all of that, there's so much that was going on, and then Landon started to make singles on his solo page. Now, if you follow Landon, it'd be a little more expected of what Disposed came out to be, because him using that platform to do experimental songs, he was developing that style that Disposed eventually came to be. It's a weird blend, because it's kind of like he wanted to keep doing that experimental style, but he wanted it to now be part of the actual main band. And I don't really have a problem with this. I think that the melodic parts that sound like Sempiternal are amazing. Although it's nothing new, because we saw that once before with Bring Me the Horizon, so they're not really changing the game there. But the other songs where they go down the pop path, it scares me in a little bit, because it makes me think that if you follow the path of his solo stuff and now where Plot in You is going, it makes me feel like the Plot in You is either going to dissolve completely, or it's going to be just Landon and it's going to be like an electronic solo thing that only he does. The reason I say that is because a lot of the instrumentals kind of reminds me of a fact that they're trying to get away from more of the live instruments, even though that's not the case. It seems like that's the path they're wanting to take, and then eventually going to either just start losing all the members, so it's just Landon, or he's going to get different people who are on board with that kind of thing, and we're going to see more of a poppy style, which isn't even a bad thing if that's what he wants to do. I know a lot of people always get angry if a band sells out, but in a way, like, if that's what you want to do with your career path, and if it's going to keep you financially stable doing that, and you're okay with doing that, then hats off to you that you're doing what you want to do. Now, if you're completely against that stuff but you still do it, that's where I have a problem, because you're changing who you are and what you represent to be into the mainstream and to be super popular with everyone. Which kind of brings up the point of how the Plot in You started. If you look back to their old songs and their old styles and whatnot, they were always anti what everyone else was doing, and they wanted to do their own thing. So it's really weird to me that they took this step into this more mainstream sound that they're going for. But for all we know, it could have been the label's decision to like hear what Landon was doing on the side and to say, hey, how about we do that now? And a lot of these decisions that we see on these new CDs with bands, it's really hard to determine what was influenced by the label and what was actually brought to the table from the band themselves. And that's what we have to keep in mind whenever bands release these new CDs, is that if they're under a label, sometimes they don't always have the complete decision to do what they want to do. And I feel like maybe that's where this CD was coming from, in a way, trying to compete with Sleeping with Sirens, because now they're heading in that direction as well. Again, Bring Me the Horizon, they're going down that direction, which I don't know if it's necessarily a positive thing. I'm not sure if I like it, but I guess we'll just have to see where everything goes and see what comes forth on the next Plot in You CD. Maybe they continue to follow what Bring Me the Horizon did, and the next CD is going to be still a little bit of the melodic style, but they're going to come back to their heavy side and try to do a blend of in between. Or we're going to see it go more pop and less heavy, and completely destroying the heavy part of it. which would be sad to see it go that way, but it's hard to tell where this is going to go. And it won't surprise me if we start seeing other bands taking that path, and we'll start seeing more and more new CDs coming out that sound just like this one and incorporating more of a poppy beat and tone to it instead of the typical heaviness that we're used to. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, this is going to be a very short one because I have a lot to do tonight. I got to get this table or this desk ready to go out. Someone's coming to pick it up tomorrow. I have a lot of packing I still need to do. So thanks for watching this video. I have a few subscribers now. A handful of people are watching the videos without me even advertising them, which is cool. I'm glad people are actually watching it and finding this, and those who subscribe, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. I will be coming out with more videos. They're just going to be a little bit delayed because of the big move and trying to get things adjusted, unpacked. You know the whole thing of moving in general. It's going to be some time, but there will be new videos coming out, and I'm going to try as hard as I can to get them done as fast as possible. So thank you for watching, and for those who subscribed, thank you for sticking around. And if you like it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and more videos will be out in the future, and I will see you then.